I am a Realty Eisenberg Associate Board Member and one of the co-chairs for the 2021 Real Estate Challenge. And joining me today and facilitating this kickoff is the other co-chair and associate board member, Jaron Kleinman.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you all.
We're so excited to have all our site partners, stakeholders, and participating teams, their faculty advisors joining us today. We have a great day planned for you, and I am going to turn it over to the president of the Eisenberg Foundation, Peter Eisenberg.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Stephanie. Glad to have all of you with us today. I think we've got 17 teams, which is a record for our foundation. Just to give you a quick background, and I'm sure many of you joined us for the Real Bright Summit, but the Realty Eisenberg Foundation was formed in January, a little past January of 1999, which was when my dad, who was a real estate developer, died after being diagnosed with cancer within 2 weeks at 53 years old. And he had a tremendous passion for real estate, absolutely loved it, and loved sharing that passion with us as his kids, but also the next generation. Taught classes, was very involved with the International Council of Shopping Centers, ICSC. And so when he passed away, we kind of sat down and said, what are we going to do about this? We've clearly gotten knocked down. How do we respond? And the answer was to create a foundation. And initially, one thought was to create a cancer research fund, which we did at Northwestern. We've had an extremely successful partnership with Northwestern, and we've done fantastic things with Northwestern. But the other piece was related to his passion, which was real estate education. And we were really fortunate to have a gentleman by the name of Al Claremont at Realty approach us and say, I've been very lucky. And bear in mind, this is over 20 years ago. I've been very lucky. I love real estate. I was introduced to it by my dad. And most young people end up getting opportunities because they know somebody, because they've got a family member in the business. I think we should take this opportunity and create a platform and provide opportunities for all students to gain access to the real world of real estate. And that really resonated with us because that was very much in keeping with who and what my dad was. And so we started a mentor program, had 1,500, 2,000 students go through our mentor program. And it's developed over the years, career day, scholarships, real estate challenges. And the biggest event that we've had was last month with the Real Bright Summit, where we had 700 students registered from over 94 universities, and really saw, and you look at silver linings with what has gone on in the world over the last year, and we saw this as an opportunity to expand our program across the country, which we have. And now we're seeing the benefits of that with the Real Estate Challenge. So we're excited to have all of you with us. We're thrilled about we're thrilled about this year's Real Estate Challenge. And we really wanted to do something exciting. And we thought about the city of Chicago and what the city of Chicago is doing today with development in all of its neighborhoods and areas of focus, South Side, West Side, et cetera. And we called up Leon Walker at DL3 and talked to him and Ryan Green and said, we think there's a great opportunity here. And Leon, for those of you that know him, passionate about real estate, passionate about education, passionate about community-based development. And he and Ryan immediately responded and said, we'd love to get involved in this. And having Ryan and Leon involved accelerated the process. They helped and reached out to the Department of Planning and Development, and I had an opportunity to work about a year ago with Commissioner Cox, and I've seen what he's been able to do in the city of Chicago and how he has vision and takes action. And so along with Luke Mish and the Department of Planning and Development getting on board, this all kind of started taking hold. And so we're thrilled about the site in Woodlawn, and I'm going to allow others to talk specifically about the site. But we're really grateful for DL3, DPD, and multiple other stakeholders in the area. Alderman Taylor, Alderman Hairston, Michael Stratmanis from the Obama Foundation, Jim Hayes from the YMCA of Chicago, CPS, and Carmel. We've got a great team put together. We've got a great site, and Jaron and Stephanie cannot thank you enough for the work that you've put into this challenge. I think it shows. We're really excited to see the students and what they're able to do. And really, I want to applaud the students most of all for, especially during these times, but taking the opportunity to dive into this challenge, and we think that it's going to be a great experience for all of you. So we're looking forward to your presentations, and I want to give one more thanks to Olivia, because Olivia is the one that's really behind the scenes that will be running this entire program. And we appreciate it, Olivia. We appreciate it, Katie and Kelly. We've got a great staff at the Eisenberg Foundation. So Olivia, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Thank you, Peter. I just wanted to quickly reiterate how grateful the foundation is to you all for participating in this year's challenge. I will be your main foundation contact for virtual logistics and anything related to the facilitation of this year's challenge. I'm going to go ahead and drop my email in the chat. Please feel free to contact me at any time.
Okay, let's introduce the 2021 site this year. So in the years past, we've had you guys come down to see the site in real life, and due to COVID and health and safety concerns, we decided to bring the site to you, especially for our out-of-state teams. So I will turn it back to Olivia, who will present our short 4-minute site tour.
Hello everyone, I'm Jaron Kleiman.
My name's Stephanie Gutman.
And we are the co-chairs for the 2021 Harold E. Eisenberg Foundation Real Estate Challenge.
We are thrilled to welcome you to our 2021 Real Estate Challenge site in a one-of-a-kind virtual tour. We'd like to thank our faculty advisors, mentors, and sponsors for partnering with the foundation and making this year's challenge possible.
Students, we're currently standing here on the challenge site. We're excited to task you with the opportunity to put together a development proposal for this area.
We'll be showing you aerial and ground footage of the site thanks to TFS Productions. Now let's dive in. We're excited to introduce Leon Walker, Managing Partner at DL3 Realty, who will guide you through our virtual tour.
The 2021 Harold E. Eisenberg Foundation Challenge site is situated at the fulcrum for change in Woodlawn and Jackson Park. As you come east from the lake, as you cross Stony Island, you hit 5 parcels that comprise 15.5 acres, an unprecedented assemblage of 5 different stakeholders who want to see the future of Woodlawn be better and brighter than ever before. Parcel A is located on the northwest corner. Contains approximately 1.5 acres and is owned by the Chicago Public Schools, directly across the street from the future site of the Obama Presidential Center. Parcel B is located on the southwest corner of 63rd and Stony Island, and it's owned by the YMCA. Parcel C is owned by DL3 Realty. It's currently occupied by a 21,000 square foot strip center, but it sits on 1 acre. Parcel D is located adjacent to the Metro station, and it's owned by the city of Chicago. It comprises approximately 1.5 acres. And then just south of there is an approximately 3-acre parcel owned by Mount Carmel High School. We have over 15 acres of possibility here.
Whenever people ask me about my experience growing up on the south side of Chicago, I always think about my childhood and all of the fun that I had growing up. I think about working on 63rd and Minerva at the senior citizen building where all of the older people will share their wisdom with me on a regular basis. I think about the Obama Presidential Center that's coming to the neighborhood and how many resources it's going to bring to the community. The Woodlawn community is so full of potential, and I cannot wait to see how it evolves.
This challenge will push you to come up with your best ideas. I want to see creative ideas around mixed-use projects, around open outdoor space for community gatherings, retail, housing, office, hospitality. All of these can be integrated into a plan and an approach that comes from you. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and to seeing your vision as we begin to shape the future to the gateway to Woodlawn.
Harold E. Eisenberg Foundation is a non-for-profit that focuses on raising funds and support for gastrointestinal cancer and real estate education.
We want to thank the Chicago Department of Planning and Development, DL3 Realty, and our other site sponsors.
Thank you to all the students for participating this year. We're excited to see your proposals.
Terrific. Thanks, Olivia, for playing that, and especially to Leon Walker with DL3 Realty and Cassandra Murph, who is part of our associate board, for participating in that video. Now we're gonna roll into presenting the 21 Real Estate Challenge. And we also want to thank TFF Productions for making that production possible. So right now we'll just do a quick high-level walkthrough of the case, just to kind of have a teaser, which you all can see, and then we'll provide the case after our call today. So as we saw in our video, the case site, which is about 15.5 acres, adjacent to the future Obama Presidential Center, as well as Jackson Park. So quick introduction on the table of contents, running through all the various components of our challenge brief. Once again, you can see the location within the south side of Chicago and the surrounding uses. And then from there, just providing an overview of the opportunity, which you all will have an opportunity to put together proposals for. Detail on the site, specifically their square footages, the stakeholders, and the existing uses. From there, providing a general overview on the zoning and entitlements. Take a close look at this section, as this will be your guide to how you decide what is the highest and best use for these sites. And then from there, really taking a closer look into what are the asks for this challenge and what's the scope of work. So with this year's challenge site, we have 5 stakeholders. So taking your investment recommendation into account for each of those stakeholders is vital, and providing recommendations that are in line with their suggestions is going to be a key for the judges to look into. Beyond that, we're looking into a business plan for the site. So how does this economically work? And then addressing the risks and mitigants that will be within your presentation. From there, general overview on the judging criteria and looking at the key assumptions that you and the winning proposal should accomplish. And here we have a timeline. So today we're having our kickoff, which we will be distributing this brief, which I'm sharing right now, soon after our call. And then we will be pairing each of your teams with industry mentors, which we will also release soon after this kickoff, likely later this week. From there, we're going to have a presentation with the Chicago DPD to just get an overview of how the city, specifically the Department of Planning and Development, is involved. And from there, just want to provide submission deadline date, which is Monday, April 5th, for both the written proposals and the PowerPoint presentations. With our record number of teams, we have divided up the presentations into preliminary presentations and final presentations. The undergraduate teams will be divided into groups who will present between Tuesday, April 6th and Thursday, April 8th. And the top 3 teams from those preliminary presentations will move to the finals. The final presentations will take place on Saturday, April 10th. All the details for both the preliminary presentations and the final presentations will be provided closer to those dates. We have the submission guidelines, which I will allow you all to take a look at and examine yourself. And then general overview of the presentations that I just explained. And going into team composition to 2 divisions, resources. Please make sure you're following these additional details and guidelines. And specifically here regarding the challenge site itself. So given that this is an in-progress real-time site, if there are any questions in terms of who you would like to reach out to or who you specifically should not reach out to, please focus on this page. If you are in any way questioning if you should or should not, please reach out to us at the case challenge email and we can direct you accordingly. So now that we've gone through that, I'll hand it over to Stephanie, who will introduce our stakeholders.
Thank you, Darren. As you can see, we have many stakeholders involved in this year's unique challenge. We will now hear from 2 of our stakeholders. I'd first like to introduce Maurice Cox, Commissioner Cox of the Department Planning and Development with the City of Chicago, to share a few remarks of the significance of the site.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Firstly, thanks to the Eisenberg Foundation for continuing to put this extraordinary opportunity for real estate development and have it focus on Chicago. We're particularly excited by the challenge this year because it dovetails so wonderfully with Mayor Lightfoot's agenda for equitable development on the south side and the west side of Chicago. And so that is a particular focus because it brings with it a whole set of challenges that I think the students will be encouraged to embrace. Firstly, they have, I guess, a once in a career opportunity to set the stage for equitable development around a once in a lifetime presidential center, right? The Obama Presidential Center, his decision to put his presidential center on the south side of Chicago. Just think about the audacity of that. I don't know if he realized how hard it was going to be when he made that decision, but the ripple effect has been extraordinary. And so for the first time, the South Side of Chicago is looking at an opportunity to create a whole ecosystem of development, which promises to be equitable, promises to change the South Side and particularly Woodlawn forever. And a lot of that work is centered at the intersection of 63rd and Stony. And what you see as what was presented just now is 15 acres, over 15 acres of redevelopable parcels. In Chicago, that would be considered a mega site. But if you look closely, the characteristics of this site are very, very different than other projects or even other challenges that the Eisenberg Foundation have done in the past. The parcels are not contiguous. They're divided by streets and alleys and train stations. The ownership is incredibly complex. You have private ownerships, nonprofit ownerships, public ownerships of land. And it will have to be looked at holistically. But the inherent structure of ownership and of parcel distribution, you would argue, defies any kind of comprehensive strategy. And I think that is really one of the challenges. How do you lay a framework for equitable development with 5 different property owners, with parcels that cross streets and cross alleys in a majority African-American, and in this particular case, low-income neighborhood? And how do you do that in a way that does not displace people, but actually creates a truly mixed income, mixed use community that fits right into a really rich tradition in Chicago of higher density development along our parks. So if some of you may know Lincoln Park or Grant Park, and you can see what a parkfront, lakefront development has looked like historically in Chicago. Well, we think that there is embedded in this site the opportunity to show that you can have density along Jackson Park, along the lake, and do it in a way that engenders an equitable, inclusive growth pattern. And by the way, Hyde Park Academy, flagship high school, they want to be a part of this future as well. So how do you retain that institution and enhance its offerings, but at the same time take advantage of their parcel ownership? And by the way, the YMCA, which is a beloved institution on the South Side, how do you give the YMCA a vision for the 21st century while at the same time fully taking advantage of the resource that they own? And then you have a strip commercial building who clearly that's of another generation. What is the future there? How do you take advantage of the fact that you are adjacent to the Metro stop? You don't have to go very far. You just go 1 Metro stop north and you see what having a Metro stop has done for Hyde Park and the 53rd Street corridor. A lot of the aspirations of this site are embedded in a consolidated report on Woodlawn, which I think is one of the exhibits that you will have access to, because the community has thought long and hard about what the future of 63rd Street could be. And they see it as a mixed use, higher density main street of Woodlawn. And then, of course, you know, Stony Island is a part of the great streets, the great boulevards that will host the Obama Presidential Center less than a half-mile away. So this site is really, really ripe for invention and reinvention. I just appreciate the foundation focusing students' attention on a real case study of development, literally using the city as a laboratory, a living laboratory for you to discover the challenges of the profession that you are trying to master. So I just would encourage you to embrace the visionary aspect of this project. This is, as I said, it only happens once in your lifetime where you will be asked to develop in the shadow of a presidential center, President Obama. And then I look forward to you, to creating a venue for you to grapple with some of the political implications of the work that you're embarking on. Because you are working in a political context. And there are aldermen, there are community groups, both near and far, who are invested in the future of Woodlawn. And your work will be a vehicle for them to see multiple visions of what Woodlawn can be. And so I look forward to supporting you in whatever you need to explore those visions. And I particularly look forward to the results of your work in a few months. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Cox, for highlighting the importance and uniqueness of this year's site. I'd now like to introduce Leon Walker, Managing Partner at DL3 Realty. Leon.
Well, good afternoon. The Commissioner said it really well, and I have to give my nod to him and his, you know, sort of efforts and convening authority to pull all these stakeholders together. As you will find out in doing development, site assemblage is one of your many, but one of the first and primary challenges for pulling together a development. And for the Commissioner to be able to assemble these various stakeholders creates the unique opportunity we have to present today. The other thing I would say is that what an awesome opportunity to reimagine and think forward into the future about a land area that has so many interesting adjacencies with the lakefront right off of here, Jackson Park, an Olmsted design park, a big investment in a new presidential center, a world-class university, and a community of Woodlawn that, you know, many times people ask, you know, developers and those that are aspiring to be developers to look to the future and think forward about, you know, what are our plans, what are the ideas, but I'd also encourage you to look to the history. And Woodlawn, you know, was once a community that had 80,000 people in it, it peaked in the 50s and 60s, that now has less than 25,000 people. So when we think about, you know, the infrastructure of the streets and utilities, it can support a community 3 times or more the size of what it has now. And, you know, there is a political dimension, a demographic dimension to the cultural changes that happen to result in a community that has been historically disinvested and has now has an opportunity to climb out of that stagnation and really rise to become a community that is diverse in the types of individuals that live there and families that come to the neighborhood. And it's just, you know, sort of an amazing way that we are hoping that you can help lead that conversation, because it will be a conversation. There are some historic and engaged stakeholders that have voices, and I think you're going to be meeting some of them and talking with them, or you'll be reading those reports where they have voiced their interests. But really, I'm just excited to see the students, you know, the future of our industry, get engaged in this type of planning effort that can benefit not only their educational process, but also a community on the move. So this is exciting for me to be a part of it. And our work, you know, continues on at Venture Development. We have a venture development model of making investments in community that help revitalize those neighborhoods without displacement. And we think this is one of those awesome opportunities to do so. You know, in a context where there's, for the first time, a mayor in our city who has really focused on the south and west sides, on the neighborhoods, and given the resources and the attention and to her commissioner to focus those efforts. So thank you to the Eisenberg Foundation. Peter, you and I, you know, have to talk again. We have so many things in common with our fathers, and, you know, having lost both of our dads to cancer, and how we came to this work in a more meaningful way. And we share a value for doing this work in a way that is community sensitive, but also progressive and moves things forward. And thank you to all of you who have been supporting this effort.
Thank you so much, Leon. We really appreciate your support and help with all this, making this possible. Couldn't have done it without you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I'd like to now introduce Michael Stripmanis, who is the Chief Engagement Officer of the Obama Foundation. He's going to talk about the future Obama Presidential Center and the positive impact it will bring to the neighborhood. Michael?
Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks for the foundation for doing this, putting this together. I was just talking with my wife the other day. She and I met when we were in college. I was a theater major, which explains a lot. She was an architecture student. She told me that the University of Illinois, not that I have any favorites. I do have a favorite. And she was explaining to me that our daughter, a couple nights ago, that she was going into school as a biology major. And as her parents were doing road trips, she kept asking them to pull over and buy construction sites. And her father thought, you know, and saw that she was doodling and just found a way to introduce her to an architect in the small town of Athens, Ohio, where she lived. And that's how she learned that there was even a profession to be an architect. And so I just really appreciate the opportunity that you're creating for these young people, because you can't be what you can't see. And I'm at the Obama Foundation, we're thrilled to be a part of it. I'd also just want the students to understand that, you know, we are in a unique moment here, and to have someone like Maurice Cox leading planning and development for a city of the power and of the potential of Chicago is just really incredible. And, you know, he and I are going to be doing a lot of this kind of thing over the next few months, because his Department of Planning and Development successfully got us through the review process to allow us to be able to break ground and bring the presidential center to Chicago. So it's that kind of action that has made this work possible. I hope you all go to obama.org as part of your homework to look at all the beautiful pictures and renderings of what we're bringing. I'm going to share with you really a bit about purpose and mission, and then a bit about timeline, so that you can have that perspective in mind as you do your work. The first thing I'd say is that President and Mrs. Obama, when they thought about the opportunity that came with the tradition of a presidential library, really wanted to create something that was not looking backward, but really pointing us forward. You know, they're not at the end of their career. right? This is not someone who spent a lifetime in politics and then had a capstone experience of the presidency, but yet someone who really, in many ways, arrived at the presidency at really the beginning of a national career, and is determined to have more of an impact as a citizen than he did as president. And Mrs. Obama sees herself in the same way. And so this idea of creating a presidential library, we've made a couple of choices. They made a couple of choices in the design that I want to highlight for you. The first is they've created a campus. And as you think about the campuses that you have at your schools, there's kind of two ways that you can think of a campus. One is to think of it as an enclosure, and that separates itself from the outside and creates kind of a cocoon for the people in the campus. Or two, as a place that is inviting people in to experience what's there at the campus. And this is really about the latter. And so when you look at the site, you'll see that there are, I'd say 16 or 17 acres of it is park space, with only 2 or 3 acres really being buildings in the built environment. And it includes space that connects it to the Museum of Science and Industry for an urban park, a museum park, much like we have in downtown Chicago. Quiet, reflective spaces, open spaces, spaces that can be used, a terrace lawn that can be used for sledding in the winter, and could be filled up for a concert in the summer. We'll have what I expect to be the best playground in the city, a plaza that will gather people and be an entry point bordering the avenue that our Commissioner Cox talked about, Stony Island, the boulevard, the Grand Boulevard that's there. And a teaching garden evoking a fruit and vegetable garden that Mrs. Obama created at the White House. All of this outdoor space that is there, and parking that does not lead into any indoor space, but that invites, again, people outside to activate the space and activate the neighborhood and activate the community. Another choice that I'd highlight for you is that most of the presidential centers have within it a vault where the records of the president are kept. We looked at it and we thought that space could be used more effectively in other ways. And so we took the money that would have been spent on the vault and we used it to digitize President Obama's records, turning and helping the presidential library system move into the 21st century. And we used the vault space to create a branch of the Chicago Public Library, creating social infrastructure for the neighborhood and for the community. And then the final thing I would say is that there's the most prominent feature of the design is the museum that will offer at the top of it views of the city and of the south side of Chicago that are unavailable to anyone who doesn't happen to live in one of the high rises in the neighborhood and the community. So that's the spirit of the design, and that is really the spirit of the project, is to activate the neighborhood. And one of the things that we'll be doing in it is leadership development, empowering people to become active citizens. And spaces like the library, spaces like classrooms, spaces like the athletic center, we really have folks mixed with the community, with the some 700,000 visitors that we anticipate that we'll get for the center on an annual basis, people coming from overseas or far away as the north side of Chicago. And having that mix of people is how change happens. But we also know that infusion of economic activity will activate the neighborhood in the same ways that you heard Leon Walker and Commissioner Cox talk about and describe in that cool video that laid out the problem set and the challenge. And so it's really, the design is created to encourage that. in order to give back the community that gave the President and Mrs. Obama so much, and to introduce that community to the world. Just some facts for you so you know what our timeline is, and then I'll let you all move on with the rest of the discussion. We're going to break ground on the center. The Obama Foundation will be on the site this fall. The city will be on the site in the spring. There's a track and field that's going to be built, a new one to replace the one that is on the site itself. And accompanying road work will be done as well. We're very focused on our diversity and inclusion. We have very aggressive goals and activities where we're giving 50% of our contracts to diverse vendors. And we're about to launch a workforce development program, which you'll hear about in the next few weeks, to make sure that we're using this project to create a pipeline of people who've been unemployed or underemployed and bring them into the construction trades through this project and have them work on the construction that's happening across the city. The build will take about 4 years, and that means that we'll have us opening the center in 2024. So 2020, fall of 2025. So that's where we are. Sustainability is important to us. Universal design, so that we are creating a space that is open and accommodating, welcoming for people of all abilities, is important to us. But I would say one of the things that's most important to us is that we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the South Side of Chicago. It's the neighborhood where Mrs. Obama was raised. It's the community that attracted President Obama here and gave him his start in political life, and it's where they raised their family. And our expectation is that this project will catalyze a rebirth, renewal in the community that they love so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much to all our stakeholders and speakers today. Again, we could not have pulled this off without you, and we're really excited to see what the students submit. And I hope all of our speakers on today helped you create a vision for what you want to create and present to our judges. I'd like to take time to introduce our team participants this year. We're going to do a brief roll call of the 15 teams competing in this year's challenge. We have 5 graduate teams signed up and 10 undergraduate teams. So when I call your university, if you can have one team representative or faculty advisor come off mute and introduce yourself and your team, that would be great. The first team is University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, our undergraduate team. We have a representative.
Hi, I'm our representative from University of Illinois. My name is Christopher Johnson. I signed up our team, and we have some of our other team members here. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Bob Sampson. And I'm Gabriel Motar.
We have some other guys on the team, but they're not currently here right now.
Awesome. And then I think, do we have the U of I grad team on right now? Okay, let's move on to Marquette University. Can we have a representative or faculty advisor? Please introduce Marquette.
Yeah, Dan Cowell here, faculty advisor for Marquette University. Our team consists of 4 seniors, Keely Ferris, Brian Gallagher, Timmy Keown, and Meg Rohr.
Thank you, Dan. Now, can I please have a representative from Ball State University?
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Thompkins, and I'm helping lead the undergraduate team from Ball State University. As one of the 3 finalists last year, we're looking forward to doing well again, and we want to thank all of the speakers so far and what they've said. We're looking much forward to the competition. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Now let's have a representative from Indiana University.
Hi, I'm from Indiana University, and my team consists of Brian Wetzel, Caleb Harper, Jake Sneed, Matt Meyer, and Mike Ruddle. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce University of Notre Dame.
I could introduce ourselves. I'm a member of the team. I'm Alec Vasquez, junior, and I'll be joined by Jason Leiden, Peter Morrisroe, and then Maggie Schmidt as well. So it's going to be the four of us competing. Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you. Next, we have University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, your undergraduate team.
Hi, my name's Catherine Wartell. Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to do this. And my team comprises of Ali Strecker, James Pizarro, Joey Lipsich, and Wilson McRitchie, and we're all juniors.
Thank you. And also our University of Michigan graduate team.
Hi everyone, my name is Dorothy Yen and I'm with the graduate team, and we have 5 members. It's made up of Alex Block, Alexander Niederus, I don't know, and Gabriel Doss and Sahil Mamikin, and our faculty advisor this year is Peter Allen, and really enjoyed seeing the site and hearing from the different speakers about the motivation and purpose this year.
Thank you, Dorothy. Next, I'd like to introduce Cornell University undergraduate team.
Hi, my name's Alicia O'Neill. Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be participating. We have 5 other seniors on our team: Johanna Tatey, Avi Goyle, Jonah Dyke, Samantha Kachadorian, and Jenny Bai.
Thank you, Alicia. And now the Cornell University graduate team. Okay. Next, let's introduce our Depaul University graduate team.
Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Aldridge. I'm part of the graduate team from Depaul University. We are so excited to participate in the case competition. I will be joined by Matt Fredericks, Cody Powell, and John Semke on our team as well.
Thank you. Now we're going to introduce Florida A&M University.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Nathaniel Lewis IV, and I'm representing Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University down in Tallahassee, Florida. Our team consists of LaWarren Meadows, Christian Spearman, Rachel Edward, Destiny Huggins, and Takayla Perry. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Ferris State University.
Hello all. It's a pleasure to be competing in this competition for the first time representing Ferris. We were able to put together a diverse team of 6: Daniel Schwell, Jared Privist, Jordan Talsma, Riley Patterson, and Samantha Lund. And our faculty advisor will be Alex Cartwright.
Thank you. And then let's introduce Fordham University's graduate team.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having us here. We're really excited to jump into this full steam. My name is Orion Hinckley. I'll be leading the team here at Fordham. We have Gabe Seidel, Andrew McNulty, Adelaide Farrow, and Tommy Tran. We really look forward to competing and seeing what you all come up with. So thanks so much. Have a great week, everyone.
And last but certainly not least, let's introduce University of Texas at Austin's undergraduate team.
Well, thanks for having us. Our team is composed of Noah Trampolino, Vish Patak, Lillian Lopez, Ashish Vedwani, and Joan Avila. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much to all the teams that signed up. We are overwhelmed with the amount of teams that signed up, and so excited to see your proposals and all the hard work you put together on these site proposals. I'm going to turn it over to Jaron to close it out and go through our timeline.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was great just to hear all of the universities and the excitement behind our case here this year. Quickly going back to the timeline, just to reiterate deadlines and expectations there. So the challenge will run through April 5th. So that's your deadline to put together your written proposal as well as your PowerPoint presentation to present for the preliminary presentation for the undergraduates, as well as the final presentations. We will be having undergraduate preliminaries April 6th, 7th, and 8th. Watch your emails for additional information regarding the specifics on timing and logistics for those days, as well as the final round on April 10th with the overall timeline and schedule for that Saturday. To wrap, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time today to meet and join us. Specifically want to thank Commissioner Cox and the entire Department of Planning and Development team, Leon Walker and his team at DL3 Realty, and Michael and the Obama Presidential Center and Foundation. We're thrilled just to have you all on board, as well as all the work and time that you've put into to help us see where we are today. So with that, just wanted to open up to any questions that you might have just to wrap up the discussion. So Stephanie and I are happy to answer any initial questions that you all might have.
I have a question. Will there be a period of for official questions from the teams to the case team in response in the next couple of weeks?
Yes, absolutely. So within the case packet that we'll be distributing later today, there's an email in there, heafcasechallenge@gmail.com. So you can submit all of your questions and clarifications to that website, or to that email rather, and we will get back to you with a response.
Great, thank you.
I just pasted that email in the chat as well.
Question about finding good demographic information for the Woodlawn area. Any recommendations on good places to find that information?
We might want Luke Mitch to answer that question if he can.
Yeah, hi everyone. Luke Mish here with the Department of Planning and Development. I would direct you to CMAP, which is the Chicago Metropolitan Area Planning Regional Committee, or regional body. They compile neighborhood level data for all neighborhoods in Chicago. I can try to drop a link here in the chat in a second. Let me look it up here, but that's going to be the most updated data.
All right, Ball State, I take it you'll be emailing to each one of us the case statement, which will include the resources that are available to us. For example, the neighborhood study that had taken years to develop. Is that the case?
Yes, we will have a Google Drive folder that shares all of our resources and supplemental documents in addition to the case brief.
I also wanted to add, so thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing all this information about the competition. And I know that there are a lot of grad and undergrad students interested to participate in this competition. And just wanted to ask if it, by any chance, it would be possible to have more than one team of grad students or undergrad students participating, because as I said, there are more than 6 people interested, and because of the requirements and constraints that there were for the competition, I just wanted to have more clarification on this. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you have more than one team that is interested in participating from the same university, what you could do is have an internal challenge where you each work on it, but we're only allowing one representative team from each school to compete in the final. Additionally, next year is always an opportunity to have new team members compete in the challenge. So definitely keep that in mind as well.
You were able to get to
Perfect, thank you.
Outlook email?
I saw the schedule. I didn't see the email.
I'm pretty sure email is there because if it's all they're synced, Outlook and.
Any other questions from any participants? again, and if anything comes up, feel free to email us at heathcasechallenge@gmail.com. We will try to be as responsive as possible. And please keep a lookout for some emails later this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Here.
Thanks. Good luck, everybody.